So if we were to zoom the camera back a bit and kind of look at the overall picture of trucking and logistics, what percentage of the cost of a good, because you were saying everything that's in a store was delivered by a truck, do you have a sense for how much the shipping adds to the cost of a good? I'm sure it varies, but...
You know what? I don't actually. I don't, because from my perspective, we're getting tons of pallets of, let's say a food product loaded on a truck. I know that cumulatively weighs, 40,000 pounds of cargo and how many pallets it is, but I don't know how many, boxes of pasta that he equates to. So it's kind of hard for me to say exactly what the dollar amount is. I know shippers pack the truck full, they maximize every cubic inch that they can legally of that trailer in order to reduce the transportation costs. So I don't know what percentage of, the price of a gallon of milk is attributed to the transportation of it, but I will say it's not that far away of like a leap to realize that an increase in driver wages is going to be passed on to the consumer. I mean, you can see it all the time. I mean, the whether it's insurance or maintenance or, because we're in a driver shortage marketplace right now, we're having to pay so much more for drivers. I mean, the margins are so thin in trucking, we have no choice but to go back to our customers and ask for rate increases and try to earn those. And it's inevitable. They're going to have to be raising the prices of their goods in order to kind of absorb it. I mean, I don't think any one person's going to be able to absorb the total increasing cost of all the different parts of the value chain. I think eventually it always inevitably goes back to the consumer. So I don't know the specific numbers, but I just know it's so directly linked, and I think people kind of like lose sight of that. So, where that kind of brings it back to like why people should care about trucking or why people should care about even certain policies. I mean, right now the industry is short, I think 100,000 drivers is what the industry is short right now. So there's that many more trucks sitting empty, needing drivers, their driver jobs posted, than there are drivers to fill those jobs. And that's just drivers. Mechanics, same way. So diesel mechanics.
And are they not being filled because they're not getting paid enough? The free market economics would say if there's that many jobs out there, you're not paying enough.
Yeah. What I can say is that when I first started, our average pay was 37 cents a mile. That was 10 years ago. Now we're paying drivers 50 cents a mile. So it's been adjusted in order to kind of compensate for that change. I would love to pay a driver more. If we could be successful in the rate increases that we would need from customers, I think it's warranted for a job like what they have. But really what it boils down to is that there's just, too few people getting into the industry. Very few people are raising their child to become a truck driver. People are on track to go to college and do this or do that, and very rarely is trucking a part of the conversation. And in addition to that, another reason that there's such a driver shortage is because legally you have to be 21 years old to drive a truck. And almost every insurance policy I've ever seen for a trucking company mandates that your drivers are 23 and older. So really what that means is, a 23-year-old driver is pretty much the youngest driver that I can really hire.
Wow. And then you wouldn't be getting those people that are straight out of school looking for something. Exactly. They're already in another industry.
So if someone is, let's say finishing up high school, they're going to be landing in another trade. If they don't want to go to college and they want to go to a trade school and get into construction or carpentry or something like that, they're not going to hold out for their trucking job 5 years later. You know what I'm saying? They're going to land in another industry, and that's going back to the autonomous trucks. So if the job got more automated, I'd be curious to see what sort of regulations could change regarding the age restrictions of a driver.
Because you think that a lot of the driving and autonomous driving will be sitting at the wheel being the human if something goes wrong.
Monitoring the command center, the controls, making sure that things are going okay. And if things need to be adjusted, I mean, I don't know how a pilot works, but, I know so much of flying that plane is automated,
Right.
I would imagine there'd be somebody monitoring the movement of the truck and intervening if necessary, if something really wonky happens. If that happens, I think that sounds a lot more techy. That sounds more innovative. That could attract younger people. If it was proven to be safe, I think the general public and regulators would be more comfortable saying, okay, well, it's okay to have lower ages if we're just monitoring equipment, or if that person that could be a truck driver could be behind a desk monitoring trucks moving in more of a dispatcher role, or imagine like drone flights would, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is remarkably like agriculture.
Yeah, I mean, it could switch to that, in which case, maybe you don't need to have a 23-year-old behind the desk. Maybe you can have someone who has an interest in these things and can be able to monitor things from a computer. So, I mean, that's a possibility, but those are reasons why there's such a driver shortage right now. And personally, I think diesel mechanic shortage is 10 times harder. I mean, to hire someone like that. And what's so interesting is these things matter because your goods are going to go up more in price. And I mean, I can't, I can't ignore the fact that like immigration could be a huge benefit to fixing something like this. I mean, there's so many jobs available, so many companies need these people, and there seemingly aren't enough people that want to have these types of jobs, at least not when they're in their 30s, So if someone can kind of get smart about the fact that there's so many people that want to, come and earn a good wage, which you can in trucking, and are willing to sacrifice, which they're already making a lot of sacrifices typically, I would love to see somebody put together an intelligent solution with immigration, as opposed to just the extremes of the discussion. There's nothing productive coming out of it. It really could in an industry like trucking.
Do you right now hire people on visas, or are they all American citizens?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not really familiar with what programs we're doing now. I haven't worked directly in the recruiting department and what our policies are there. I know we have done some things before where we have sponsored people, and we've tried to help be a part of the process. I know we've done it not necessarily in immigration, but we've done it on like criminal reform. We've taken people that have been nonviolent. They've been released from prison. They're
for
part
nonviolent
of
offenses.
Nonviolent offenses, and they're part of these second chance programs. And we've worked with judges and with almost like parole officers to get them in a trucking job, and they're administered more random drug tests than our other driver population per the stipulations of the program, to get those people back into a job like that. We've even had a few kind of outside of the box conversations with some local homeless shelters that are here in town, because if you think about it, trucking could be a perfect solution for someone that is down on their luck and literally homeless. I mean, you get a job and a home all in one. Now it's
wow. I wouldn't have expected that.
If you think about it, and naturally you need to train them. You need to. I mean, we have truck simulators that we can help kind of train them on. We can put them on a training program, help them, point them in the direction of getting their CDL license. But if all those pieces were in place, I mean, that could be a solution there too, as long as, insurers were on board and, all the other parties.
I mean, it sounds to me like you guys are like facing a real challenge if you're saying, hey, we're going to the jails and we're going to the homeless shelters in looking for people. At what point does it become a problem for our economy?
I personally think it's influencing the economy right now. I don't think the stock market was a little weird this week, but I don't think in general the economy is in as sound of a state as people thought for the last couple of years, and I think it hasn't been drawn a lot of attention. But I think this is influencing it. I think our inability to hire drivers to fill the seats, let alone high quality drivers. I mean, that's another issue too. I mean, your accident rates go up, your cost and maintenance go up, your cost and fuel go up when you get somebody who's lesser quality, because you're compromising on what you're going to put up with, because, in the end of the day, you need someone behind the wheel. So I think those things are impacting things right now. And, where we're at right now in the summer of, like 2019, they're below what the freight forecasts were.
What does that mean?
So we're always working. The Truckload Carriers of America has, a team of economists that are trying to put a finger on what do forecasts look like for shippers. So how much product are they going to be producing that is going to need to be shipped at some point? Because that helps us kind of strategically plan, like, hey, what's the rate environment going to be in a couple of years? Should we add capacity and add trucks, or should we kind of stay the same size we're at now? And everything was going to be, everyone's talking about just a tremendous amount of loads that need to be shipped, and we're not seeing it as much. So I think very subtly and kind of discreetly, a lot of shippers are kind of like letting their inventories build. They're not pushing out as much product as we thought they were going to. So, and if you think about it, it's one of the earliest stages of kind of the economic implications of things, because we're on the earlier end of people buying their goods. So if things start slowing down in trucking, you can say exactly somebody thinks it's going to slow down further down the line. Yeah, it's like a barometer for kind of what's to come in the economy. And right now things are not catastrophic by any means, but it could be so much better. And right now you can tell that there's some pain points.
Thanks for checking out this short. If you liked it, check out the rest of the interview. Otherwise, come say hi to me on Twitter @Vance Crowe.